Good morning. I am Worship Associate Xenia Young, and along with Celia Ortenberg, we will be helping with the service today. Our minister, Reverend Dana Worsnop, is not in the pulpit today, but we are very pleased to be able to welcome back our guest minister, and this is Reverend Hines. I'm going to share a short bio about Reverend Hines. She is Minister Emerita of Emerson UU Church in Canoga Park. She retired after over 30 years of UU parish ministry, all within our Pacific Southwest District. Since retiring in 2014, she has served several other congregations as interim sabbatical or contract minister. She is president of the ACLU San Fernando chapter, is active with Northridge Indivisible, and volunteers as a pianist in the lobby of Kaiser Permanente Medical Center. Welcome, Reverend Ann. The three of us welcome all of you to worship today with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. We are a community of many different people, many identities, origins, sexualities, and genders, but we all hold fast to the idea that we don't need to think alike to love alike. All are welcome as we gather to keep love at the center of our lives and the way we move in this world. May all who enter this sanctuary find a welcome face, hear a kind word, and find comfort. And may all that is said and done here today be in service to love and justice. No matter how you are joining us this morning, we are glad that you are with us. I have several announcements. There are quite a few, but isn't that a wonderful thing that we have so much going on? We thank the people who are seated on this side of the sanctuary for keeping that area protected for people who are more comfortable wearing masks. And after the service today, everyone is welcome to attend a presentation on church safety. It's sponsored by our hardworking health and safety team and presented by the Ventura Police Department. And the focus will be on how to respond to threats that might occur at church and other public meetings. And there'll be an opportunity to ask questions if you're interested. The men's 5th Tuesday potluck dinner will be on this coming Tuesday, April 29th in Burke Hall. Potluck dinner is from 6 to 7 and a circle from 7 to 9. The topic of discussion this time will be politics and me, how the current political climate personally affects our lives. There should be a lot of interest in that. Gary Zinnick will be at the connecting table after the service in Burke Hall if you have any questions or want to know more. Also, we have movie night coming up on Friday, May 2nd. And our last announcement is that the Board of Directors invites our congregation to a farewell celebration honoring Reverend Dana's time with us at the UUVC. Mark your calendars now. It will be on Friday, June 6th at 5:30 p.m. in Burke Hall. Look for more information to come in the next few weeks, but mark your calendars, please, so as not to miss out on all the fun. Joyful, and this is a bittersweet event, and we hope you will come. And if you want to help, even better, set up and take down volunteers are needed. So speak to any of the Board of Trustees, and just keep in mind Reverend Dana's farewell party. Now, there's always more information about events and happenings at the connecting table after the service, so stop by if you want to know more. And remember, if you check out that UUVC weekly email, there's a lot of up-to-date information there as well. Okay, now, enter sacred space. Bring with you what is yours. a burdened heart, a joyous song, a weary spirit, a seeking mind. Bring the gift of yourself to the altar. It is an honorable gift. Let us enter sacred space.
I'm Worship Associate Celia Ortenberg, and I invite those of you who are Zooming or streaming into the service to light a chalice or a candle at home as Xenia lights the chalice of our free faith here in the sanctuary. The words this morning come from Reverend Scott Taylor in honor of First Steps. We light the chalice in honor of first steps, for beginning even when the path ahead is unclear, for the courage that it takes to trust that the way will reveal itself, that the light will come to clarify our vision, and that friends will be by our side. May the words, songs, stillness, and common breath of this hour remind us that every step of the way is one we never take alone. Our call to worship this morning comes from Soul Matters. Changes abound in our lives, in our community, and in the world. May we navigate those shifts with courage, compassion, and a commitment to making a positive difference. Come, let us worship together.
I'm Music Director Carolyn Bjerke, and our opening song is Come, Come, Whoever You Are. We're going to sing it 2 times through all together, and then Xenia is going to help me, and we're going to do it in a round with that side starting and this side coming second, and we'll sing it 2 more times through. All right, so please rise and body your spirit.
Young folks or people young at heart, come forward as we enjoy the time for the child in each of us. Oh, today we have a book that we're going to read about change and about how everything changes. And I'm wondering how much you guys have changed since the last time you were here. And you think that maybe things have changed since then? Just a little tiny bit, maybe? I don't know. You'll have to think about that. So this book is called Everything Changes, and That's Okay by Carol Dodd. The rain falls from clouds in the sky, and the sun appears, making everything dry. Raindrops caught in a sunny beam, a rainbow shimmers like a dream. The moon is full, but then it's gone, chased away by the dawn. Stars that shine all through the night disappear in the morning's light. Everything changes, night and day. Everything changes, and that's okay. We eat an apple, then we plant the seed, water carefully and pull the weeds. A tree grows tall and strong, and shiny new apples appear before long. A yellow dandelion flower slowly withers hour by hour, becoming fluffy seeds of white, finally floating out of sight. Everything changes day to night. Everything changes, and that's all right. A kitten who loves to chase and scrounge becomes a cat who loves to lounge. A puppy who only wants to play grows into a dog who sleeps all day. We read a book and turn each page. We learn more each day as we age. Black hair slowly turns to gray, and wrinkles come that won't go away. Everything changes, and that is true. Everything changes, even you. A new school might feel real strange. Friendships sometimes rearrange. Your best friend may move away, but new friends will come to stay. You build a sandcastle all day, and then a wave washes it away. Your favorite game becomes a bore. You don't want to play it anymore. Everything changes. It's the natural way. Everything changes, and that's okay. You might feel sad for quite a while, then something happens to make you smile. You feel embarrassed and close your eyes, but then confidence returns. It's a nice surprise. Morning comes with the yellow sun. The hours pass, and the day is done. Everything changes day to night. Everything changes, and that's all right. Stars shine brightly, sharp and clear, then fade away when the morning's near. Everything changes, night to day. Everything changes, and that's okay. And that's it. So have you guys changed since last week? I don't know. Yeah, you have, right. Did you learn something that you might not have known before? Maybe, I don't know. All right, so now let's all sing the children out to their RE classes. If you wish to rise and face the center aisle, form a bridge of love for our children to pass under. If you're new, just follow along. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. Change. Wow. It's funny how some days things just come together in serendipitous ways. When we asked Reverend Hines if she would like to speak, she offered to speak on change, as our Reverend Dana is moving into retirement in less than 2 months now. This can feel sad, or scary, or exciting, or all of those things all at once. But this congregation has a rich history of change. As a matter of fact, this week is the 20th anniversary of us walking down the hill. Wow. You see, we used to meet in a large farmhouse up on Foothill Boulevard. It had a huge living room with views that went out to the islands, and everyone met in this living room, and that was our sanctuary. It had plenty of land for the kids to run and play, city kids that didn't have the nature that they had now at church. It was truly our church home. But there were issues. The sanctuary was too small to encourage growth. The city wouldn't let us build unless we paid to straighten Foothill Boulevard. And it was too far from public transportation to accommodate those who didn't drive a car. We were going to grow. If we were going to grow and share our vision with the larger community, we would have to change. We would have to move down from our sacred home on the hill to more common ground. For some of us, that was easy, always able to look forward and ready for a new adventure. But for some of us, it was hard. Understanding the reasons to move, we knew that in our hearts there would always be things that would never be the same, things that we would always miss. But march we did, with all the joys and trepidations of change. I'm going to spend just a moment of that walk with you right now. Here we go. But anyway, we did it. Just look what we've done. We have this beautiful church that holds our hearts and our values and our commitments. Reverend Dana has taken us through growth, the pandemic, and regrowth. We've weathered some storms together, and we have come out stronger. Now is the time to let her rest and for us to go forward, and we will. I look forward to all of us doing this together. Thanks.
Each Sunday, our congregation gives away our entire collection to an organization in the larger community or to funds that help people in our own church. Those at home have two ways to give: through the link posted in the chat or by texting from your phone to the number on the screen. Folks who are here in the sanctuary can text to give, or you can still write a check or put some cash and drop it in the box at the back of the sanctuary after the service. Our offering today goes to our own Lift Up Your Voice Motel Fund. This program provides 1 to 3 nights in a motel for folks in need of a temporary place to stay. This may be people who are waiting for housing, having health issues, or those that just need a couple of days of respite. Recently, a mother and daughter who are both disabled were evicted from their place because of a gas leak. They were able to pay for a motel for 2 nights, but then they had to sleep outside on the ground, which was quite difficult for them, especially because the mother is unable to walk more than 5 steps at a time. They first sought help from the mayor's office in Port Hueneme, who then contacted United Way. United Way contacted Lift Up Your Voice and said if the motel fund could pay for 2 nights, they would be able to find them a new home through one of their partner landlords. Since their original home was red tagged and they were not able to get their furniture, the Moving In project furnished their new home with everything they needed. Lift Up Your Voice was able to provide comprehensive support to this vulnerable family and make a horrible situation perhaps more bearable. Thank you for giving generously as you always do, weaving a tapestry of love throughout the congregation and in the greater community. The sharing of joys, sorrows, and milestones is one more way we keep the ritual and practice of holding one another in community. Each week, we help this church stay strong and connected by sharing with one another some of the heartfelt joys and sorrows that touch our lives. There's power and there's comfort in standing together in those moments. In joy and in sorrow, we know we don't stand alone. We place a stone in water for each celebration or sorrow to represent the way each ripples out throughout this entire church family. You can submit a joy or sorrow for sharing via a link on the website, uuventura.org, or a link in our Thursday email bulletin, UUCV This Week. Those received by 8 o'clock on Saturday night will be shared that Sunday. I invite you now to speak into the gathered community or write into the Zoom chat the names of those you wish to celebrate or memorialize, or those in need of the loving embrace of this beloved community. Celia will now place one final stone in the water for all the joys and sorrows yet unspoken in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. May we be truly grateful for all that is our life.
Please remain seated as we sing Voice Still and Small. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
Our reading this morning comes from Michelle Collins. Changes abound around us, within us, between us, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, and in our beloved faith families. Changes abound. May we each find the balance point we need as we move through our ever-changing world. The balance between the old and the new, between the known and the unknown, between the familiar and the perhaps bold and risky possibilities that there may be waiting. I invite you into a time of meditation. Place your feet upon the floor if you're comfortable doing so. Close your eyes if you wish, and breathe, and let your breath fall into a natural rhythm. What have been some of the changes in your life? What changes are yet to come? How will you navigate those changes with compassion and commitment? A silent meditation.
When I was a kid each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. And now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. holy water was rare at best. It barely wet my fingertips, and now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down. Now I walk with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. 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 Read a questioning child's face. Say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-downs. Now I'm walking with a reverent air, 'cause everything's holy now. Everything is 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 holy now.
Thank you, Carolyn and the choir, for the lovely music this morning. I always enjoy Carolyn's music when I come here. And thank you to Xenia and Celia for putting together such a beautiful worship service. All I had to do was a sermon, which really made it pretty easy. But I don't know about you, but I've never been a big fan of change. I was the only one of my mother's 5 children who wasn't born several weeks early. Indeed, I came a couple of weeks late, so comfortable was I in the safety and warmth of my mother's body. About 35 years later, I entered Star King School for the Ministry, and those years there in Berkeley were some of the most exciting and nurturing years of my life. So when it came time for me to graduate, when I had done all the coursework I needed to do, and internship and CPE and everything, I convinced the core faculty that I wasn't ready yet, that I needed to stay another year. And they said, okay, there's more money for them, well, for the school. But at the end of the next year, I again told them that I thought I still had more learning to do and perhaps should stay yet one more year. But this time, my faculty advisor, Ron Cook, who at one time had been the minister of this congregation, he looked at me and he said, "Hines, this is getting really boring. it is time for you to leave. And so I did. But even after leaving the school, it took me another full year to complete all the forms that needed to be sent to Boston to begin the search of finding a church to serve. I would take the forms out of the envelope from Boston, see all that white space that needed filling in, and slip the forms back into the envelope, completely unchanged. When I was finally called to serve a congregation, it was one that had never had a minister in its 25-year history, and they were pretty nervous about giving me any kind of authority. They were as fearful of change as I was, allowing me that first year to preach only one Sunday a month, even though they were paying me for full-time ministry. But little by little, trust grew as we learned the sometimes awkward dance of shared ministry. I ended up staying with them for over 15 years. Now, you could say that's a real testament to something, and there are probably many reasons for why I stayed so long, but I am sure that one was simply my resistance to facing the unknowns of change. But maybe I'm no different than most of you. Maybe all of us approach change and transition with some trepidation, perhaps especially when it comes unexpectedly or is not of our choosing. That kind of change can disrupt our routines and plans and leave us feeling unsure of where we are and where we are going. So I have heard that this congregation is about to embark on some major change, a transition that you didn't really ask for or maybe even expect, and you may be experiencing a myriad of emotions, both as individuals and as a congregation. In his book, Managing Transitions, William Bridges, and I just love that his last name, Bridges, is also a metaphor for transition. Anyway, William Bridges contends that it's not change itself that's the tricky part. That's simply the situation that presents itself to us. Indeed, if we pay attention, we will see that changes, even unexpected ones, occur every day in our lives. What's the old adage? If you want to make the angels laugh, tell them your plans. These changes, though, that we experience throughout the day are simply small enough usually that we don't find them particularly disruptive. What does need our attention, says Bridges, is the transition that follows change. That's where the hard work lies. But also that's where new growth, new beauty and joy can be discovered. Bridges suggests that there are 3 stages to transitions, whether in our personal life or in the organizations in which we participate, like this congregation. In some ways, these stages are reminiscent of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's stages of grief, and as with her stages, there is always some overlap. The first stage of transition is letting go of old ways, even sometimes old identities. In essence, it is a time of loss, even if the change that's occurring is a chosen one, and even if it's seen as change for the better, there is still something that has to be given up. By the time I was to graduate from Starr King School, it had become a second home for me. And while a future of parish ministry was what I had been looking forward to for a very long time, it also held incredible fear and uncertainty, and that outweighed the excitement until I finally put one foot in front of the other and began the journey. And I could only really begin that journey when I could acknowledge the loss, the mixture of grief and joy. Reverend Dana has served this congregation for 9 years. For those of you who were here when she began and were even part of the vote that brought her here, she has been your minister for all that time. For others of you, it has been less than 9 years, may have been only a few months. For some of you who joined during her time here, she may have been the first UU minister you'd ever experienced, or even the first minister. That's big. No matter how long it's been, there will be a sense of loss, a need for letting go, and grief is not too strong a word to use for what you may be experiencing. Let it have its place, just like with other loss in your life. But let it also be a way to express your gratitude for her ministry. Because you have all had an amazing shared ministry together, which I understand actually began with some disasters. It was the fall of 2016 when Reverend Dana began here, and just a couple of months after her first service with you, there was a presidential election in our nation that did not go the way many of us expected or desired, to put it mildly. I remember feeling so relieved back then that I was by then retired and didn't have to prepare a service for the Sunday after the election. But Reverend Dana did, and for the next 4 years, this congregation needed to continue offering hope to each other and to the wider community through your words and through your acts of compassion and justice. And that is exactly what you did. It's also what you're doing now. A year later, in December, the Thomas fires broke out, burning massive amounts of land and structures for over a month, and that was followed by the tragic mudslides of Montecito. But that only deepened you as a community, as you reached out to one another and to the wider community, becoming a hub of caring and assistance to those in need. And then, after installing a much better sound system that created, I'm told, a warmer sound than what had been when you'd moved in, because this was just all office space then, and after improving your parking lot, COVID hit, and neither the sound system or the parking lot could be used as the church was closed and you all had to isolate in your homes. It was such a trying time for congregations everywhere and for individuals. But you learned to pivot, carrying on worship and other church activities on Zoom. And once you could begin holding worship back here together, sort of a small TV studio was created in this sanctuary so that the quality of your hybrid services could be as excellent as they are. In 2019, you joined other UU congregations to more deeply engage in the work of anti-racism through the Beloved Conversations process. One result of that was the expansion of diversity here, with a vibrant group of people of color now that meets twice a month. Just don't let you know who know about your DEI success here in this church. You have increased your commitment to environmental justice in the past 9 years, and now you are also focused on justice for immigrants, an increasingly urgent issue in this country, as even immigrants here legally are being illegally detained and deported. You host, meaning you offer space here at no rental fee, a trans support group, again, an increasingly urgent need in this country. And you host the Gold Coast Quilt Project, which makes new quilt squares for people dying of AIDS. So you and Reverend Dana have done a lot together. And in the time you have left with her, I hope you will celebrate all of that and more. Of course, there have been some challenges during her ministry. There is not a faith community on this planet that doesn't have challenges from time to time. We are composed of human beings, after all, and that means there will be occasional problems. But you have learned and grown through them and deepened as a congregation. Bridges says that the second stage of transition is what he calls the in-between zone, and this may be where most of our resistance to change and transition lies. For you see, this is the time of unknowing, where anything could happen, when all our fears can come to the forefront, when we are tempted to fall back into old patterns that we thought we'd outgrown, when we want to rely on what is safe and known. The American futurist Marilyn Ferguson describes this time as Linus when his blanket is in the dryer. There is nothing for us to hold on to. But the good news is that you do have something to hold on to during this time of transition as you embark together, and that's one another. This community of faith and hope and courage, and the ministries that you have created together all these years. And it's the memory of those other times in this church's history where the future was unsure, and yet you found ways to move into something new and better. Each change has made you stronger. And you will have an interim minister in place to help you through the transition, to look back at your many accomplishments and at the challenges, and to help you look forward to who you want to be in the future as a congregation. I have served 3 UU congregations as an interim minister, and I always loved the experience. For one thing, since I could only stay 2 years, I was already fired. So I could tell them whatever I thought they needed to hear, and what were they going to do? Not fire me. But mostly, I loved seeing the people celebrate their past ministries and grapple with their challenges and play with their visions for the future. I loved facilitating all of that and then seeing their excitement as they chose their next settled minister. Many of you have been here long enough to have gone through that process in the past and remember that thrill of welcoming your new chosen minister into the congregation and into the wider community. And you have learned through that process that the church is more than the minister, no matter how wonderful a particular minister may be. The church is you and the ministries you carry out with the minister. That is the thread that continues on. And finally, the third stage of William Bridges' theory on transitions is creating a new beginning. That's what you'll do together in the years to come. And it is really the exciting part of transition. There will, of course, be challenges, either from outside or from within. But I have been familiar with this congregation since the days when Frederica Lee was your minister. And I know of some of the losses you've suffered and the challenges you've faced. But you have always met those challenges and the changes they brought with grace and determination. And you will again in the months and years ahead. The question isn't whether we'll experience change and even loss in our lives. We know we will. The real question is, how will we face it? Will we run away as fast as we can so we don't have to feel any pain or fear, as I tried to do when I was in seminary? Or will we be courageous enough to accept the change and loss, even embrace it as an opening to something new, something holy awaiting us? To allow change and transition into our lives, to allow ourselves to be transformed by whatever emerges, takes courage. But you, this community of Unitarian Universalists, will find that courage together. You will sing to the world around you the power of your faith, your hope, your love, and your fearless joy. And in so doing, you will bless the world. And that's more than okay. Amen.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing Turn the World Around. We come from the
mire, living in the fire.
Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life.
Please join me in reading the words on the screen as we prepare to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we carry into our lives until we are together again.
Well, I want to invite everyone here in the sanctuary to please join us in Berg Hall through the doors on the side of the building. You'll find bagels and coffee and tea and friendly folks who are just waiting to have a chance to speak with you and welcome you. We have a special area in Berg Hall. There's a sign above a table that says Connecting Table. And it's the place you can go if you have any questions about any of the events that we talked about or any of the activities. If you want to know more, there's someone there who'd be willing to explain a little bit. And if you're just looking for a place to sit down and sit with friendly folks, that's also the place to be. Thank you. And on that note, I'll invite Reverend Ann back up to the pulpit.
I offer you these words by Alan Watts. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Let us go now in peace and with a passion for love and justice as we join the great dance of change. Shalom, salam, namaste, alleluia.
Thank you. Oh, good.